Grammy,
that must have felt like a
different level of sacrifice. You know, Grammy
it's nuts, you know.
It's nuts. It's crazy.
Like,
You know, when your
what-
mum's jumping up and down like. So joining us this week on Syndicate Radio is the super producer, and I feel like he's earned the tag super producer.
Some respect.
I feel like he's earned the tag still. We're joined by I.O. this week. What are you telling me?
Yo, man. I'm alright, man. I'm happy to be alive. You know, I'm happy to be there. You know,
I hear that.
Blessed, etc.
I hear that,
etc.
man. In like in the midst of COVID, it's weird that
Fam.
people that found like happy to be alive like, has a deeper meaning now.
Yeah.
Like, it's always been deep, but now it's
But
even
now
like,
it's-
yo, like this year I've really been like, you know what, yeah? Whew. Yeah. It's
Fam.
Just being grateful, innit?
it's been a mad year. It's been
100,
a mad
2020 seeing come to an end, and hopefully it's only up from 2021. Boy.
Please.
No, it's only up. It's
It
only
has
up.
to be.
You have to claim it.
It has to be.
Honestly,
You have to claim it.
honestly.
So you're actually the first producer that we've had on the show,
Happy
which
to be
is
first.
funnily enough. So I've got to ask the broad questions.
Yeah.
What made you want to become a producer?
So do you know what? I'm not gonna lie, I never actually wanted to be a producer. Like
Yeah.
it was never like I wanna do, I wanna whatever. But I think it was inside me.
Yeah.
But I just didn't know until one summer where pretty much I had nothing to do. And it's just
Right.
like, you know what? My brother produced all my life. My older cousin, he produced anyway, or he was into music. But for me, I was just bored that summer.
I
Some
was
Kanye
I was
thing, just
probably
lock yourself in.
literally locked myself in that
What
whole
year was
summer.
this?
Yeah.
I was in year 9, so I would have been like 14.
Wait,
So
makes
he
me
was
think you're saying
bored and he was
18.
producing. I was doing nonsense, kicking ball, playing FIFA.
Do you know what? Life was just there. It's just there.
You got better for interest in it at the
Yeah.
time.
So I was just there. So it was just music, and then picked up FL, and then eventually after that, just making beats here and there. Asked my brother a few questions, and then started playing keys in church. And then from then on, then eventually it's like, alright, cool. Then I had a deeper understanding of music. Then it was like, alright, cool. Then it was only up from there. Then from there it's just been, alright, cool. Yeah, I want to do music. But it's not until probably like 2015 I was like, yeah, do you know what? I actually want to do music.
Okay.
So from then on, it's been every day, go.
Yeah.
So
I
yeah,
hear
that's pretty much it.
As someone that wanted to produce, how important? Because that was a dream of mine for time.
But it was too half-hearted.
It was too hard. So I started playing keys and thinking like I want to be scientific with it.
Yeah.
Must be just beats in there.
In terms of your producing, like how much does your keys or like, how much does knowing how to play the keys like elevate your production? Because I've spoken to some producers who like it's not that necessary, but I tend to find the best producers can all play keys patterned.
That's true. If you think about it, Timberland, like
Yeah.
Pharrell.
Kanye.
Not Kanye.
I swear.
Kanye can't play any instruments. Kanye can't play nothing. His
Wow.
only thing is he samples. Obviously, he can do stuff
Yeah.
MIDI.
Yeah,
MPC,
yeah,
I'm saying
Piece it
MPC,
together, then
yeah.
he'll send it off to somebody. Yo, here's the sheet music. Boom, boom,
Okay.
boom.
But the
And
mind
then-
is
But
crazy.
the mind, exactly. The mind is
yeah,
the madness. So
Scott Storch can do a madness in the keys.
he.
as well.
That's it. Then you've got him.
Yeah.
He can do a madness.
A
For
madness.
him, playing is probably essential for him because his riffs are iconic. Innit? His, you know what I mean? So to answer your question, I don't think playing an instrument is 100% key because it always is the mind. Because there are some people who are not musical, as in they can't figure out how to play an instrument, but put them in the studio, the way they'll orchestrate other musicians,
Yeah.
I need this, boom, 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 they'll cut that out. And do you know what I mean? They'll make a sick banger.
Yeah.
So I don't think you need to play keys or need to play guitar, whatever. But if you can, it's like an
Extra
added, yeah. So I mean, it's the little leverage above someone who might not be able to, and then you can use that to your advantage. So really and truly, but even still though, there are some people who can play keys. They are sick. Ask them to make a beat that could, that an artist could jump on. They will do the madness, and it's like, this is not really. So do you know what I mean? So it is. It's all about the mind, really and truly.
Yeah.
But like I said, if you can play, fair enough. If not, then it's not the end of the world.
I hear that.
Where do you fit in on that scale? Like, what's your process like? Obviously, you've been producing tunes, but what's your process like in comparison to like you said, people that know how to play the keys are a bit more, I guess, scientific with it. Like, what's your approach?
For me, it would be because I can play keys. That's what I learned first.
Yeah.
So most times I would just sit on keys and try and just figure out a sick melody, a sick chord progression, or just play. And then as I'm just playing, I'll probably think of something that's hard or whatever, and it's like, alright, cool. That would be my starting point sometimes, and it's like, alright, cool. Or sometimes because I can play, sometimes I can hum stuff. and in my head I know what to play on the chord. So but by the time I get to the keyboard, I already kind of know what to kind of do.
Cool.
So that's how for me it works.
Yeah.
But obviously, if I didn't play keys, I might, I don't know, I might go get drums, I might go get a sample loop,
Yeah.
I might, to be fair, I still use sample loops now because
Yeah.
sometimes I just get bored of keys, but,
Yeah.
you know, you might just, you know what I mean, so for me, because keys is my home, that's where I can start,
Yeah.
and just get an idea and just, you know what I mean,
Yeah.
go from there.
And it's mad how you started in church. Fam, like, there needs to be some sort of like documentary
Listen,
of musicians and church.
Oh,
'Cause
listen.
all the greats, it's the breeding ground.
The powers.
do you know what I think? It's just like,
From up above.
literally, but it's like, do you know what it is? I don't know. I think it's just because in church you don't necessarily get taught theory.
Yeah.
A lot of it is just
By
Just
ear,
following
really.
it.
exactly
Just
just
feeling it.
feeling.
That's why it's hard.
Yeah.
That's why it's so sick. Like,
There's a deeper spiritual
there's a
something.
deeper fun. Listen,
Yes.
it's so sick, and it's just like sometimes like for example, you'll be playing,
Yeah.
and like a certain musician might not know the song. I've done this bit. I don't know the song.
Yeah.
But I got to look to someone else who knows the song, and they're trying to tell me on the fly, and it's just.
Oh yeah.
You just
And
start
you
to
just
feel
start
it,
to
and then
feel your
after
way
you start
through
to
it.
clock,
Yeah.
and then it gets to a
Yeah.
point where, cool, pastor might come up and say something. You might start singing a song. You don't even know the song, but you're just.
But
like,
you're freestyling.
you just know how to.
I've been in them
And
situations.
it's so sick, like
Yeah.
literally, like you don't know what they do, but you can kind of follow the melody. Like, alright, cool, I know what chords will, and then
Yeah,
it's like
word.
stuff like that. You just can't teach. It's just
Improv.
you just improv. You just
Yeah.
I think that's why I think church is just soul and just
100.
feeling. You just feel
100.
music.
That's true.
100.
I think it's just hard, man. It's just,
So who are your musical inspirations or like your producer idols?
Timbaland,
he's
100%.
Yeah.
Like 100%. He's just the
He's
man.
Godfather.
Like,
He's
literally,
Godfather.
see him, it's just
It's
different.
different.
And the
It's
thing
different.
about Timbaland, yeah, like his music is so timeless. Like even his tunes,
Listen.
Valia, back then, if you play them now, you're like,
It sounds
"Fam,
like it
what
could've
year
been
is
made
this
You're
guy
still
in?"
banging it now.
Nelly Furtado's thing.
Oh,
Nelly
man.
Furtado
it's banging.
Promiscuous.
Although, yeah, I'm not gonna lie though, as hard as Timbaland is,
Yeah.
there was someone else who was producing that alongside him. He was like he
Understand.
his
Okay.
protege,
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
Okay.
But
Who is that person?
Yeah.
Is some guy called Danger Hands. Trust me, you
Oh.
would have known of his music. You just
Okay.
didn't
Yeah,
know that.
didn't
Oh
know
my
he was
gosh.
behind it.
But that's not to take away from Timbaland though.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
still did the madness. But
Yeah.
I think he had a second guy as well who was doing that madness.
Right.
But Timbaland, 100% for me, is one of them.
Yeah.
Dr. Dre, he's
Yeah.
defo. If you're talking UK, like Maniac at one point was just, oh my
The Tiny
days.
Tempest thing, innit?
The Tiny Temper, just bare things. Chip, Tinchy Strider,
Yeah.
he was just doing a madness.
Madness.
There's one point where he was 18 and he just had grime and he just had
On
that
lock.
job. Top producer, one of the earliest producers I saw getting like a Nike advert with Chip at the time. I was thinking, right,
Yeah.
this guy is mad.
Pattern
So
it, well
done.
he was just mad. Obviously Da Vinci as well.
Yeah.
There's a point where he was just killing
it.
He was just, oh my days,
Yeah,
like, he
yeah,
was just
yeah.
going ham, and I was just like, yeah, this guy just, he's from the UK, but he sounds like no one else in the UK.
Yeah.
Like, he just sounds like he's in his own, you know. And there's bare people, and also T-Pain, funny enough, yeah, T-Pain is one of the hardest producers.
T-Pain is the musical
songwriter.
soul.
He
Don't
is
get us started.
cold.
Everything.
Man, he can sing on top.
Don't get us
Literally.
started on
Silly.
T-Pain.
Literally.
This is a T-Pain fan club.
Literally, T-Pain.
Yeah.
Listen, like, him,
100.
hands down. I learned just a lot by listening to this.
Yeah.
So I think off the top of my head, those are like some, but it's bare. It's Burbsy bare.
And who was or what was your first big placement, and what was the process in getting it? Like the placement that you kind of thought, okay, now I've arrived. You feel like the first
Wow.
the first proper one.
And the peas, you know,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
solid one,
Yeah.
yeah.
Do you know what? First one would have been Huss, J Huss Spirit with TSB
Okay.
and J5. That was the first major label thing that I had that was done. That's the first thing I ever needed a contract for.
Yeah.
That's the first thing I ever had to
Official.
do. Exactly.
Yeah.
Everything was official. Like, you know,
Yeah.
that's the first time I had to be like, oh, right, can you read over this contract
Yeah.
to legal team, etc. That was the
Yeah.
first thing. And that was the first thing that I had that was played on actual like main radio, like Radio 1,
Sick.
Capital
Nice.
Extra. So
That's
that
gone
was
platinum
the,
now. Now is it?
no, that's
Gold?
on its, that's gold, but it's on its
On its
way
way.
to going platinum. But
Sick.
when it gets there, it gets there.
Yeah.
But so that was like the first, and that was a single at the time as well.
Yeah.
I had 3 on the album, but that was a single, so that was
Yeah.
technically the first like something.
Yeah.
So and then from there it was like cool.
Oh,
So
cool.
I think Huss Spirit is the
Was that before or after Forrest Gump? I
that
think
was all before.
before.
That was all before.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. That was
Yeah,
like
that- yeah.
that was like a alright, cool. Those who needed to know would have gone and seen who's on the album,
Who's-
blah blah.
yeah.
And then from behind the scenes standpoint, that was the one that was alright, cool. A bit of names talking about, etc.
Mhm.
And then after that is when everything else came, like
Just
Lowski
took
and all of that stuff came
Yeah.
after that. So that was like the first,
Yeah.
do you know what I mean, first thing really and truly.
So would you say that was one of the placements that had the most impact on your career, or was there any other ones that you think, yeah, this one that I
Yeah.
kind of needed to stay? Like,
Yeah.
after that, obviously that's the beginning.
Yeah.
But in terms of pushing you further throughout your career, are there any particular placements where you think like, yeah, this actually
Impactful.
Impactful, like,
Yeah.
do you know what? I still say Spirit because
Yeah.
that started like a little push. That started like a little, you know, like, alright, cool. At that time, Hus didn't work with nobody, only
Yeah.
J5.
Yeah.
We just
Sure.
happened to be in the same studio,
Okay.
and we didn't work for months. Then eventually it was like oh yo, what are we saying, bro? Blah,
Yeah,
blah. Then
yeah,
eventually it was like,
months, yeah.
come, like months we didn't work, and then eventually, listen to the album, cool. Then eventually it was chilling. Then eventually it was working. So I
Yeah.
still say that one because that pushed me. But the one that I think that actually did a lot for my name or whatever would have been Lowski stuff, you know.
Yeah.
Lowski Cool Kid. That
Mhm.
was like alright, cool. First thing on your own.
Yeah.
That kind of was underground. That still had a lot of people talking
Yeah,
about,
yeah, yeah.
rock, you know, Cool Kid, blah blah. So that one
Big tune. That.
was like a
Big
love.
rhythm
Yeah.
stuff.
That one was and that was on my own. So it was
Yeah.
that was like alright, cool. Who's this IO person, and then etc.
You and Lowski went on a cleaner run. Is there more to come? Because there was a nice run between you and Lowski still.
There was. It's alright. But
Yeah.
do you know what? His new album's coming out soon. But
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. There's times we're supposed to link up, and obviously he was away,
Mhm.
and then you know then he's back, and then there was just bad like so
Yeah.
there was just bad like you know timing issues.
Mm.
But I was still 100% working. Obviously,
Yeah.
I think I still have, but yeah, I ain't got nothing on his album, but
Yeah.
100% I was still working only because that was the first.
Yeah.
You know, I worked with that person first, and that was like a. Do you know what I mean? So I
Cool.
was
Entry
still
to the-
working.
to
Yeah,
the
do you know what I
scene.
mean?
So like, even talking about artists,
Mm,
so, you know, like Lowski, Hus,
Mm.
Burner, Skeptic, like you work with some cold artists.
mm.
Who's been your favourite to work with?
I think one of the best sessions I've ever had,
Yeah.
would have been with Cranium, right?
Mm.
I had a session with him in earlier this year
Mad.
in LA, and that was probably one of the most like the sickest sessions I've ever had.
Sick.
Yeah.
It was just everything that just happened was just so unplanned. It was just
Mm.
it was
Okay,
so
organic.
hard. Like it was just so hard from the people that were in the room to like awkward things that became later the best thing ever. Like it was just one of
Yeah.
the best sessions ever. So that was fun, but like consistently my favorite person to probably work with would probably be Hus, you know, probably because we can just chill,
Chill.
just
There's just an organic vibe.
Yeah.
just make, and obviously I'm probably so used to working with him a lot now as well.
Yeah.
So but it's hard to answer because I've had fun working with them all for different reasons.
Yeah.
So it's like hard to, but
But they're all like very different people, you'd say.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're all like they're all different people. So it's different experiences, different
course.
So, but I think that's probably one of my favorites to work with.
So then, moving forward, like Tara was saying, like who would you want to work with, artist-wise? Like, any artist globally, not just UK, obviously, globally.
Who would you want to hear?
Pushing the boat out far. Obviously, like Io and Drake, I'm sure that would be something. Nice.
Oh yeah, no, but see that?
Yeah.
But obviously, that's like
That's
a.
possible,
But that's like
Drake,
a-
that's more
That's
realistic.
like a, do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
That's like
yeah,
a,
It's a UK vibe.
yeah, that one was like of course,
Obvious.
like of course.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to think of someone that I'm
Niche,
just like.
innit?
Mm-hmm.
No, do you know what?
Very
Do
passionate.
you know what? T-Pain's one.
Yeah,
I will
yeah.
still work with him.
Yeah.
I will still work 100% just to be like,
Too
and
cold.
worked with T-Pain.
Yeah.
Sat down with him. One person I would love to work with. Do you know who I fuck with? Fuck with Snow Legger. I like
Oh,
her.
my
I think she's hard.
days. Yes.
She's just someone that's just so
Too
cool.
clean.
I
Yeah.
think,
Musically, would you work with Tyler?
do you know what? Yeah, I would because it would just be so mad different. It would just be
Yeah.
so different.
So different.
So different. Like things like that. I wouldn't actually mind doing that because it would
Yeah.
just be so different, and
Yeah.
I could be like, right, that was a different side I did.
Yeah.
And do you know
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah,
So
yeah.
there's like that's what I'm saying. It's hard to think because there's so much that I would love to do.
Obviously, in terms of the artist world, you've been producing the tracks and whatnot. It's been just gone on the sleeper run, innit? And then when you got that nomination off Burna Boy's album, African Giant, like, how did that feel like? Because obviously
And
that
Grammy,
must have felt like a
A different level of something. Grammy.
it's nuts, you know.
It's nuts. It's crazy.
As in,
You know,
what
when
kind of
mom's
nomination?
jumping up and down like.
One of my guys here, he's got a Grammy in it.
Yeah.
Off the Muramas tune in it,
Mm-hmm.
and like he puts it on his wall, like
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying,
Yeah.
but I feel it. Do you know what I'm saying? So
It's like
I can't even imagine it.
it's that day. Do you know what? The night before, obviously I knew the nominations were coming.
Yeah.
But I had a sly feeling that Burna was going to get nominated because they put it on their Instagram. They put like a couple albums on and the credits of a couple albums in different worlds, different sonics, whatever.
Yeah.
And I saw the Burna Boy one, and I was like, that's interesting. They really picked that one. I was like, that's interesting.
Yeah.
And then cool, out of my mind, whatever. Then I've linked up. I had a session with my guy Scribs Riley. Amazing
Cold
artist,
producer,
amazing
very
producer.
cold.
One of the coldest.
Coldest. We need to get him on the show soon.
Him, we'll talk about Grammys.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
got-
But you know what?
Yeah. Been there, done that.
That one, yeah. So he was. It was literally the night before the nominations came out. So I forgot about it, and we were just talking. Blah blah. He said, "Oh fam, do you think the Burna Boy thing is gonna get nominated?" I was like, "Oh yeah, nominations." And he's like, "I think so, And I was like, we'll see, innit? Obviously, I told him the Instagram thing, my little suspicions, blah blah.
Yeah.
And then like, cool. And then cool. We're working out my mind. I've gone home or whatever. And then the next day he's called me. He's like, "Oh, congratulations." I said, "For what? What's happened?" And I was thinking, no tunes come out, blah blah. Is that Grammy nominations are out? And I said, "You're lying!" I shouted. I said, "No." I've gone to check it. I said, "Yeah, that's hard. That's a Grammy. Like that's
honestly.
like, even though it wasn't like a you've done a single, you got the best song. It's like you've worked on a Grammy nominated album, and it's like that's like
serious credit.
that's like hard. Like I still haven't even got the certificate thing yet. I need to order it. But
Yeah.
even still, even though we didn't win, just to be Grammy nominated.
He should have
Yeah.
won. He should have won.
Listen,
I can't remember what did
Who
win.
won?
I can't even remember what did win. but I
Angelique, what's her name? Angelique Joe was her name.
Yeah.
She's on the album as well. She's on Burna Boy's album as well.
yeah.
I think it's Angelina, but she's won a good couple times.
Oh, sorry.
But my personal, in fact, it's right there. Actually, no, my suspicion was.
Burna Boy's album was one of, if not the best album that year for me.
That year,
That year, cold music.
Worldwide.
African Giant was
Listen, that's
But it was
really
ringing
the
some
vibe.
word,
Right.
I went to Jamaica and they were ringing that
See what I'm
up
saying?
constantly.
But Burna Boy has always been like, for me, I've been banging him since
Tonight.
2015, like
Tonight,
2015,
2012.
yeah, 2012 actually, yeah, 2012. So tonight, Like to Party, all that stuff. That's when I was awake to Burna Boy.
Yeah.
So he's always been cold to those who knew.
Yeah.
But African Giant was like nah. That
International
role,
stuff.
exactly. That was him in America. That was
Of
him
course.
everywhere
Yeah.
else. That Rolling Stone thing, when they put his name in the small print, that was the best thing to happen to him at that time.
Yeah,
That-
because
that was like,
he
he's
said,
like,
yeah,
no,
apart from
I'm African
Manchester.
Giant.
Yeah,
He's like, no,
yeah.
I shouldn't be that. And then from then, everyone was like, bro, who's this Burna Boy, blah, blah. Then his music came out, next thing you know, I seen on Jimmy Fallon,
Yeah.
all this stuff. So that was 100%. I think he should have won. Obviously, I think there was probably behind the scene politics of why he
I heard
didn't
that.
because
Yeah.
he didn't perform. I didn't see him perform. And
Okay.
usually, I've said things. Usually at shows,
Yeah,
people who are
the
winning,
person
they
that's
perform.
winning.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
true.
but like when I didn't see him perform, I was like, that's a bit.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
should
yeah.
it really be? Come on, But yeah, he didn't win. Obviously, it was like obviously when you get that close to winning something, obviously you want to win.
Yeah.
Like, so you're not disappointed that you're nominated, but
You
it's
just
like,
want-
Yeah,
that's just
you
like
want-
the finish line's right
there.
there, and you know that you should have.
Won it.
And it's like,
Yeah.
so you
So
should
what-
still be happy, but
You're charged up for the next one.
exactly,
Yeah.
but you should still be happy, but you're like,
Yeah.
won that. But it's like, that's cool. The next one,
Yeah.
they're gonna
That's it.
so exactly. But we'll see if he gets nominated and wins this year, innit?
Yeah.
But we'll see. That one, my mum, that one.
Yeah, that one.
That one is don't ask me about listen, I'm doing all right now.
Yeah,
music,
yeah,
Joy, you
yeah,
have to worry, music
Yeah.
is viable. You
100%.
see, come on, you see it now.
That's what it takes for them to buy it now.
That's what they want to see.
Do you know? In all honesty, yeah, she was fine from way before
way
that.
before,
From
yeah.
way before that was just a. Whoa, okay,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
nice.
yeah.
That's
So serious.
exactly,
That's
okay,
nice.
wow. But prior to before that, it was like she's like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
So she's been cool for a while. So, yeah.
So what? You see, with a lot of producers, we find that a lot of them wanted to spit in it. Like a lot of them wanted to spit, and then some of them became producers. Like,
Yeah.
have you ever wanted to pick up the mic?
Listen, I did, and let me tell you that vision. I was saying to someone else like literally 2 days ago. That journey, that vision ended in a week. Yeah,
I'm done.
it took me so long to write something. Yeah, and it was like, and at the time I wasn't working with no vocalist, so I was like,
Yeah.
let me just try something myself. It took me time to even write something, and then once I finally got something down, I was like, this doesn't even sound good.
I'm
And
finished.
then I've tried to, vocalize on something.
Yeah.
I've heard what to. I'm like, nah, I don't even like
Dead.
it. I don't like. It took me so long just to even hear myself back on the recording. I hated it for so long, and since then I just said, you know what, I'll stick to producing.
So what? In aside from music, like in another world, what would you have been like career-wise?
do you know what? Yeah, I would have been a cinematographer, a film editor,
Oh, wow.
Okay.
or one of those things. Because I studied film in uni.
Oh,
That
so
makes sense.
I love like that's why I love visual. Like, I love aesthetics. Like I
Yeah.
love visual things. Like that is just because I studied film until the point where music was like, do you know what? That's my actual love. And I couldn't do so. But
Yeah.
if otherwise, I probably would have gone into film. You know.
No, it makes sense because that was our first interaction when I remember I put on my grand that was like analog films.
Yeah.
He was like, "Where's that?"
So I thought it was like on film, like I was like,
Yeah.
So I love like
Makes sense.
disposable camera pictures. I've got a couple film cameras at home.
Okay.
Like I love that stuff. Like I love it completely. So
Obviously, you're in the industry now, innit? Like, you're very much in the industry.
yeah.
Is that a thing you would try and go into? Like, maybe like
Oh,
film directing?
quite
or
Later on down the line.
Yeah.
So
Like,
later on, I'm gonna try to find a way
Yeah.
to combine. You know, you talk too much. Yeah.
I'm sure you
trying
can,
to
like,
put it,
you're in the right rooms, innit?
No,
Like,
no,
you're in the right places.
Exactly.
So
Do you know what I
I'm
mean?
sure-
So like, it's not for the last. When did I think about it? Like for the last couple of years, I was like, do you know what? Yeah, that's not maybe a wasted option. You know?
Yeah,
I
it's
still,
not
like,
at all. Not
put
at
them
all.
together
100.
and do something somehow.
110%.
So I was like,
Isn't
you
it
know,
That would be live.
Chibs? Chibs.
Yeah.
He produced
Yeah.
48 Full with Blaze,
Oh, swear.
and then he directed the film
Yeah,
himself.
yeah.
oh swear
Yeah,
that.
and then he
Yeah.
edited it.
Oh
Yeah.
swear.
So he's like an all-round,
Okay,
they're like all-round
so-
creatives.
You never know.
Yeah.
You never know. Maybe all the songs I produce, you know, you do the videos for.
No,
you know.
100.
Whole
You never
package.
know. Exactly,
Whole
but then I'll try and figure out somehow. I want to do something,
Yeah.
but something I do will 100% utilize the film side or something.
Yeah.
But I just don't know what it is yet. But it's gonna happen though.
No, it's
gonna
needed.
happen, I
It's
just don't
needed.
know.
Viable
Yeah.
talent, son.
Yeah, it's like-
So at the start of the interview,
yeah.
you mentioned that you had an older brother and a cousin
Yeah.
that produced.
Yeah.
Are they also in the industry as well? This is obviously like a leading question because we've had a conversation prior. But this is news to me that before. Obviously, you've seen
Like-
you and
TSB.
TSB
TSB,
produced
yeah.
together to find out that.
So, the cousin I was talking about at the time,
Yeah.
that was his older brother, who still produces now. To this
Okay.
day, he's done like Rihanna. He's done
Oh,
bare
wow.
big things. Like he's
So
done.
wait, TSB's older brother does
So-
things for
Fuck
Rihanna.
off.
Bro, listen, bro, it's like
Nah,
his
the
older
mum
brother.
is too proud. Are you kidding me?
That's my son.
My son. That's mad.
It's crazy. Like so, yeah, it's crazy. It's mad. So when we were like I started at what 14. TSB started at probably like 16. So then
Yeah.
we kind of linked up. Then we started sending beats through MSN, etc., etc. So to us, I was looking at my brother like, rah, how do you do this? How do you do that? TSB's looking at his older brother Maestro like, rah, how do you do
Oh, his
this? How do
brother's
you do that?
Maestro. I knew that, in fact. I did know
Exactly,
that.
yeah.
I did
So,
know that. I do know that. Yeah.
Maestro. So that's his older brother. So we were just looking at them like, yo. So but yeah, so I have two cousins who are in the industry, so Maestro and TSB.
Yeah.
My brother, he was more, he went down the gospel route. He so he didn't do no commercial music. He's like,
Yeah.
hey, no. He just went down that route.
Yeah.
So and then eventually, obviously, he's got a wife, settled down.
Yeah.
So he still plays keys every
Sick.
Sunday at church.
Sick.
But if he does music production, it'd be like now at home when he's got time or something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, my cousins, they're still very much in the industry.
Yeah,
You know,
sick.
so TSB, that one, we have something planned. Yeah, obviously like an actual something.
Yeah,
you
like
know,
a
do
tape,
yeah,
produce a
or
tape.
there's some sort of, I'm not saying what it is.
Need it.
Something.
We need
We've
it.
got something.
Oh
but-
my lord, that'll be fire.
But
too fire.
we're not an actual. Well, anyway, maybe I'll say nothing.
Ah, come on! Exclusively on Syndicate.
No, so
Sunday
like,
Radio.
so like,
Still.
it's like everything we've done has not been like as a duo or blah blah.
Yeah.
But we have something that's like
Coming.
The pipeline.
like yo, like alright, cool. If we
We
can
need
pattern this,
Yeah.
yeah.
We need
Because there are some very successful
We need
producer
it.
duos out
Yep.
there. Very,
Do
very
you know what I mean?
successful.
So we could like,
Yeah.
you know, hey, could just do that shit. Some
Cinema.
shit in the UK. Do you know what
I hear that. I hear
So,
that.
Shake
so,
up.
I hear
so yeah, those are my family that's in the industry.
Sick.
Yeah,
That's so sick.
For like young producers, obviously some might not have as much of the sort of like advice around them, sort of the guidance around them. Innit? What advice would you give them in terms of taking those steps to get even like, for example, their first big placement? What would you tell them?
Do you know what? When I started, okay, I was fortunate. So like a lot has happened through because of just having an older cousin, Maestro,
Yeah.
who's done music. So side story. So without him, I wouldn't have met like a lot of sick songwriters. I wouldn't have met like ADP, who's another sick producer.
Yeah,
They went
cool.
to like college together
Oh,
or something like that. So
Yeah.
that's stuff you just can't plan. They went to
Yeah.
college together. Then ADP was at our studio. Then Maestro was like, oh, wait, what studio you at? He started coming over. Then there was another guy, one of my closest friends, another producer I learned from, a guy called Levi Lennox, one of the hardest
Okay.
producers. Bro.
Yeah.
He started going to that studio to play keys for someone else. Then ADP was like, oh, yo, bro, nice to meet you, etc. Oh, do you want to help me with some stuff? Then they've formed friends. Then more friends have come. Then by the time me and Toby have graduated and me and TSB have graduated uni, then we've just gone to that place and seen, you know, just chilled with our older brothers, older friends, and do you know what I mean? So it's like certain things you can't plan.
Yeah, I need
So-
to be friends with you lot still. Please, next drink up or something, shout at me.
It's just been like mad. You just can't write it in.
That's
So
a mad circle, you know.
It's a mad, and then obviously ADP, Adam
ADP,
Sampson,
Levi Lennox, Maestro, TSB,
all they've done
IO.
there. It's a mad, like, what, even before we did anything, they were doing mad. They were already Krept and Conan. They're already doing bare things already.
Yeah.
So are you just as close
So-
with J5 and that as well?
So yeah, J5 as well. Obviously, we went.
Yeah.
So, yeah, later on, they came to the studio. Also, when ADP and everybody, all the older brothers, when they
Yeah.
moved to another studio because they
Yeah.
wanted to expand, then J5 Hustlers moved to our studio.
Oh,
So it's
okay.
like, but we would have never been there if it
If
wasn't
not
for.
for
So do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
That's nuts.
it was it was a weird one of how I came up. So it was a
Yeah.
weird one, but if not everybody's gonna have those, you know,
Links
those
for them.
circumstances or
Yeah.
whatever. innit?
Yeah.
So if you don't or whatever, it's not the end of the world. There are people who knew nobody who are now killing it.
Yeah.
And my only advice is to just nowadays, yeah, things are a lot easier because of social media, networking, sending beat packs out. When I started, I wasn't doing that stuff, and at the time I didn't know why, but I had links through, you know, my older family,
Yeah,
etc.,
yeah,
etc. So I didn't always have to send out stuff. Although I did put stuff on SoundCloud, I didn't send out stuff enough. I didn't tell people enough that I produced music. Certain people knew, but not everybody knew like that.
Yeah.
So my thing, I wasn't loud about it. So if you're about now, just put your stuff online, put your stuff on YouTube, put it on SoundCloud, wherever. Email people your beats, you know, be about, see who people are following, see your little A&Rs on Instagram or whatever. Social media is so powerful. So
Yeah.
just go on social media, literally just be about. If you can't be about in studio, for me, I was just about and I met people.
Yeah.
If you can't do that,
Be
then
about
be
online,
about
innit?
on social media, online,
Yeah.
literally. So so that's kind of my advice, and just, well, networking is key, and also just keep making music.